Up at the top, put week 8-4 and put day, I think it's day 13. So put day 13 EOC geometry. Make sure you have that heading on your paper. Question is, choose the space figured formed by rotating each solid about the axis. Well, if you rotate this around this way, it's going to look like a hemisphere. It's half of a sphere, hemisphere. If you rotate this one, it's going to turn into a cone. And if you rotate this one, it's going to turn into a cylinder. And there it is. Select all polygons that can be formed by the intersection of a plane and a cube. Well, let's draw a cube. Put a square, put another square, and then connect the vertices. If you put a cross section here, you end up with a triangle. If you put a cross section across the middle, you would end up with a square. Okay? Let's see what else. If you go diagonally, like this, you would end up with a rectangle. A pentagon would be a five-sided figure. So how could you get a five-sided figure out of that? Okay, well, they have Pentagon marked. I'm not quite sure I see that one, so see if you see it. Also, they say a hexagon, six-sided figure. But they do pick those as well. I'm not positive that I see them. Choose the shape that is formed by the intersection parallel to the base of a cone. Well, let's draw a cone. And if you go parallel here, you're going to end up with another circle. Okay, and Erin drew a three-dimensional figure with the intersection of the plane to show a circular cross-section. She then noticed that all cross-sections are parallel to one she drew would be circles. What additional information would allow you to conclude that it's a cylinder? Well, if you take a cylinder and you go parallel to the base as a cross-section, all of these will be equal or congruent circles. So we would say congruent. On a cone, they wouldn't be congruent. This one would be bigger than, say, that one. Okay, so it has to be a cylinder. Let's flip it over. Which figure can have the same cross-section as a sphere? Well, if you take a sphere, which is a ball, and you cut it, something like that, you would end up with a circle. And so this one right here would be a circle. Okay, so remember when you complete the square, the first one has to be a 1, not a 4 or anything else. In other words, we're going to divide everything by 4. And divide this side by 4. So when you divide by 4, you get x squared minus 4x plus 4y squared minus 6y is equal or plus 4. 16 divided by 4. And 0 divided by 4 is 0. Now, you got to take this plus 4 here and move it to the other side. That becomes a minus 4. And then you got to take half of the middle term squared. So half of 4 is 2, and 2 squared is 4. So you're going to add 4 to both sides. And then here you're going to take half of 6, and you get 3, and when you square it, you get 9. So you're going to add 9 to this side, and you're going to add 9 to that side. So what you end up here with is a perfect square trinomial. So that's going to be x minus 2, 2 times 2 is 4, squared. And then this one, let me think, This should have been y squared minus 3y, okay? So you're going to take half of the middle term squared. Let me make sure I have this right. Divided everything by 4. When you divide by 4, this becomes y squared, and that becomes minus 6y. So half of the middle term is 3, and 3 squared is 9, so you're going to add 9 to both sides, which is what I did. So this becomes plus, and this is going to be y minus 3 quantity squared equals 9. And the center of the circle is going to be opposite, square root. So the opposite is 2, the opposite is 3, and the square root of 9 is 3. So the radius is 3, and the center is there. Okay, let's see what's going on here. The center of the circle is located at -5, up 7. And it has a radius of 6. So 6 would be here, over 6. So that circle would look like that. Derive an equation using Pythagorean's theorem. Remember, it's x minus h quantity squared plus y minus k quantity squared equals radius squared. Well, they tell you the radius is 6, so 6 times 6 is 36. This is going to be x minus your x in this case, and that's hk, just so you know. So it's going to be x plus 5 quantity squared, and this is going to be y minus 7 quantity squared, and there's your equation, and it's side squared plus side squared equals hypotenuse squared. The hypotenuse here is 6, which is your radius. Okay? Anyway, there it is, and there's your review for today. Have a good morning.